When I read this gospel, I think Jesus and I have had a similar experience. And I know you must be thinking, Father John had a transfiguration? No, that's not the experience. The experience is explaining something and people going, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely. And then as you turn around and walk away, they go, oh, what was he trying to say? I don't understand what he was saying. Which is what happened with the apostles, right? They said, oh, sure, we won't talk about it. And then they're like, what's rising from the dead mean? I don't know. Jokes aside, the second-year brothers know this story because I talked about it in history class, but at the Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War, on the first day of the battle, it was a 3-day battle, an extremely bloody and significant battle between the North and the South. The South was actually coming from the North, and the North was coming from the South, and they encountered at a small town in Pennsylvania called Gettysburg. And a Northern general of the cavalry named John Buford decided to pick a perfect spot to make a defense against numerous thousands and thousands of Southern infantry, right? And for all of you tacticians, you know that cavalry can't withstand a major assault by infantry. But General Buford had specifically trained his men to fight like infantry. And why is this significant? Because the North had never won a real battle against the South, 2 years of war. And they had always been kind of the aggressor. And in this place, he was choosing to be the defender, to pick the best ground and hold it, hoping that the Northern infantry would arrive. And you might say, wow, nice, great. He had done that once before. Almost a year before, he had done the same thing. And his men, 3,000 strong, had held off 25,000 Confederate infantry for 6 hours. But the help never came. The promised reinforcements never arrived. And so they had held for nothing. And so here he is, a year later, faced with the same situation. And he decides to try again. He decides to hold the ground and hope that the promised reinforcements arrive. And they do. They arrive. And so his hope was fulfilled. Right? And I think we've all had the experience of being on both ends of a promise. The end of having that promise fulfilled and feeling happy, excited, relieved maybe, affirmed. Or being on the other end of a promise that is not fulfilled. Maybe feeling sad, disappointed, betrayed, frustrated, angry. And maybe even, God forbid, but maybe even we've been the one to promise and not fulfill. And other people have been sad, frustrated, angry, disappointed with us. God made a promise to Abraham. He told Abram, he told him, I'm going to give you lands, I'm going to give you descendants, and I'm going to give you a blessing. And it seemed unlikely. The descendants' piece was against some pretty serious odds. But yet, Isaac. And here again, in this first reading, that promise seems to be in a dangerous position. Because God is asking Abraham to let Isaac go, to give him back. And so that whole descendants as numerous as the stars thing is in question. But what does Abraham say? He says, the Lord will provide the sacrifice. The Lord will provide. He chooses to believe in the promise of God. He chooses to trust that what God says is true and will happen, will be fulfilled. He goes beyond just human eyes, rational reasoning, and goes to the supernatural level, the level of faith, the level that he's been at ever since he encountered God. And he decides to continue to trust in God's promise, to continue to believe that what the Lord has promised will be fulfilled. The Lord will provide. Life is hard, right? Life is hard. The priesthood can seem far away, many years down the road, but it goes by fast. And one anchoring principle that we can always have in our life is God is faithful. God is faithful to his promises. The Lord will provide. The Lord will provide. He will provide that grace you need when you're struggling with something. He'll provide the inspiration and the strength to face the challenges that we have. He will provide the energy to embrace our studies and the different aspects of religious life, if we believe. And like Abraham, live the belief. General Buford had many reasons not to trust, many reasons not to believe that the reinforcements would arrive. We have many reasons in our life, possibly, to not believe others, to not trust in some promises that are made to us. But there's no reason not to believe in God's promises. Because God, time and time and time and time again, has given us reasons to believe. And that's what the Transfiguration is. It's a reason to believe that what he said is true. This is my beloved Son. This is the one that is going to save Israel. This is the Redeemer. Listen to him. Listen to him. Believe him. Trust in his promises and what he says. The Lord will provide. There's a beautiful phrase in the breviary, and it is, "The Lord stands at my side. All my trust is in his promise." The Lord stands at my side. All my trust is in his promise.